Self-Love Sunday. I am Moe Sass, your host of Self-Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision and empowerment coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And last week, I got us started talking about the passage that was given to me that read, "As long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no man can work. While I'm in the world, I am the light of the world." And this passage came from John chapter 9, verses 4 through 5. And I want to start this off by saying, listen, this is not about getting someone to read the Bible. This is just about understanding that literally we have to get into our purpose and our calling, because one day it's going to be all said and done. And when it's all said and done, what is your legacy? What did you lead? How did you leave it? All of that becomes important. So last week we talked about recognizing the value of time. And so this week we're going to talk about embracing the sense of urgency, because the overall month-long theme when it comes to this passage is really helping you understand the importance of doing good works while you are here. It's so important. I just think that as a people, we don't really get it, but I'm learning more and more. Why is this important? You don't even realize that there's somebody tied to your destiny. There is somebody waiting for you to get into your work so that then they can grow and get into theirs. And you don't see it, but it's the truth. If you would have asked me when I first started being, when I was like a $322 a month welfare mother, would any of that would be true? I would be like, no, are you kidding? That hasn't, like, nobody's waiting on me. And now that I'm in this place and in this position, I actually see how my gift has really set a lot of people free and allowed them to transform their lives. And so it's really important for me to come back to let every single person that listens to my videos know it's time. It is time for you to value your time. It is time for you to create a sense of urgency so behind your goals that is leading to your legacy. So the thing of it is too, it's oftentimes we're waiting for somebody to do something, or we're waiting for somebody to give us something. And see, when you talk about sense of urgency, because there's a difference between taking action and a sense of urgency. Sense of urgency says, I am going to seize the opportunities. I am going to be proactive as opposed to reactive. I'm going to go out and do whatever it takes so that I can personally and professionally develop. I'm going to go out and do whatever it takes to seek out a mentor, to seek out whatever it is that I desire to do in my life. Instead of sitting back and waiting for somebody, I create the plan and then I go after that thing with a vengeance, with the understanding that time waits for no man. Listen, just yesterday, my daughter turned 21. I can't even believe she's 21. I can't even believe my son is about to graduate from high school and he's the baby. And it's really starting to show me just how fast time moves. So by embracing urgency, it actually helps you be more motivated towards your goal. When you get that momentum built up, don't slow yourself down. Keep on building on that momentum. And so when you do that, not only will you be more proactive, you'll actually start to see the things that you are doing come to fruition, which also helps you build that confidence, because a lot of times we're not moving with a sense of urgency because we're not confident in what it is that we're doing. And the thing about confidence is it comes as a result of repetition. It comes as you build those habits that you need in order to be successful in whatever it is that you're deciding to do. And so I know you're like, well, then give me some practical ways, right, to get here. And let's start with this. Number one, I want you to set clear and specific goals. Number one, let me say the goal should align with your vision and your values. So we talked about this before. What is the vision? I want you to be very specific. What is it? What values do you need to have? Who do you need to become in order to live the vision? And what goals do you need to do? So we talked about setting this up yearly. So say, for example, you have a 5-year goal. Let's just go with to make, $1 million. It's doable, right? So what do I need to do this year when I break that down, right? So you divide that, right? So if you want to make $1 million and you want to make it in 5 years, 5 divided by the million, this is what I need to make this year. Once you figure out what you need to make in that year, I then want you to take it and break it down into quarters, quarter 1 through 4. All right, what do I need to do quarter 1? Okay. And then once you get it by quarter, I want you to break that thing down by month. Once you break it down by month, I want you to break it down by day. What do I need to do every single day? You should be touching your goals every single day. That's how people become successful. No one's sitting around and somebody's handing them anything. They're working towards it and they're moving with a sense of urgency, not waiting for someone to give them something, not waiting for somebody to tell them something. They're actually going out and seeking that opportunity and grabbing it. That's what I'm talking about when we talk about moving with a sense of urgency. But let's talk about your goals. They should be SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. When I talk about time bound, that's when I said break it down by the quarter, right? This is what I'm going to do in quarter 2. Realistic. I find that a lot of times people do not set realistic goals. So say, for example, in 3 months, people are like, oh, I want to lose 70 pounds in 3 months. If you did it, it's not going to be healthy. I'll say that much, unless you had some sort of weight loss surgery. That's a little bit different. But let's be realistic. On average, how many pounds per month does the average person lose, right? So I'm going to say before menopause, okay, it was 8 to 10 pounds per month. So then I said, okay, well, if I want to push myself, because I should push myself somewhere outside of my comfort zone, I'll say I'll go for 30 pounds. That's 10 pounds a month, okay? And so then if I'm going for 10 pounds a month, I have to ask myself, how much do I need to lose each week in order to get there? And I know that I never recommend people getting on the scale every single day. I don't recommend people getting on the scale every week. However, if health and getting yourself to a particular health is your goal, you're going to have to step on that thing. And you're going to have to make sure every single week you're hitting your targets. If you are hitting your targets weekly, that means you're going to make your monthly goal, which means you're going to make your quarterly goal, which means you will make your yearly goal. It's very simple. The thing is not to slow down and to rest, but don't quit. Because the one thing I don't want you to do as you're taking small actual steps. So the number one thing, okay, we're going to make our goals clear and specific, and they're going to be SMART. Number 2, we're going to take small actual steps every day towards the goal. But this should not be stressing you out. It shouldn't be overwhelming. And sometimes you're going to have to habit stack. So what does habit stacking look like? Say, for example, you have a goal that you want to read, 5 books a month as well as lose 10 pounds. You may have to listen to Audible as you're working out. Combine 2 habits. That's what we call habit stacking. Okay. Next, you want to develop a growth mindset. So we said number 1, clear and specific goals, make them SMART. Number 2, small actionable steps. Next, develop a growth mindset that focuses on learning and improvement rather than perfection. I had to literally say this to myself this past week. I went to my coaches. I have a coach, Dr. James, and he is Dr. James Smith Jr., as a matter of fact, and he is a phenomenal speaker and trainer. He's absolutely phenomenal. And when I get in the room, sometimes I'm very nervous. And he was like, we had to come up with a speech. And I was all night long, I'm wrecking my brain and I'm sweating and I'm nervous. And I had to remind myself that the reason why I'm here is to learn. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because if it's perfect, then he doesn't need to tell me anything, which means he doesn't need to teach me anything, which means I don't need a coach. But those are the reminders that I have to give myself. So you have to remind yourself, progression over perfection. And 9 times out of 10, to me, I fail forward. I don't ever look at anything I really do as a failure. Let me just not lie to you. I always say those are my lessons. I do learn consistently every single day by getting things wrong. Only by getting them wrong can you get them right. Think about I always talk about, think about when you were doing math, learning division. 9 times out of 10, you had to get the problem wrong before you got it right. Okay. So as we're working on our growth mindset though, I want you to think about practicing mindfulness and doing visualization exercises that will also help you to embrace a sense of urgency, because the more you are looking at your vision every day, the more you're aligning your values, the more you're aligning your goals, it's going to really help you with that sense of urgency. You see me looking over here. You can't see my office, but I'm gazing at my vision board. It literally sits in my office and it's right in front of me. I see it every single day. I see it because it reminds me to touch it every day. It reminds me to work on those things every single day. So I'm literally just going to give you six tips and tools. Okay. Number 1, set the goals. Set your goals. If you don't want to write your goals, they actually have apps that can help you. I told you guys I'm going to come and start giving you apps as well, because I'm old school. I write everything down. My goals are written on paper. It just is what it is. But they actually have an app called Habitica. Is Habitica, and it turns habit forming and goal setting into a game. All right. So, and it helps you complete your task and actually gives you rewards. So if you don't want to do it old school, there's an app for you. There's an app for everything. Okay. Number 2, I can't stress this enough. Set deadlines. You have to set deadlines that help you move with a sense of urgency, and don't make the deadlines stretch so far out. I need to know, what are you doing every single day? What are you doing that helps you hit that marker at the end of the week, so you know you're going to be successful by the end of the month? Number 3, prioritize tasks. We talked about that last week in value and time. You have to prioritize based upon importance. And the reason why, and I'm going to tell you this, do the hard things early. Do the hard things early in the morning. Right now, the hard thing for me is working out. I do it in the morning. Get it out the way. Do the hard thing early. So then by the end of the day, you're able to meet your task. Okay, do the hard things first. Number 4, use positive. I cannot say enough. Use positive affirmations. Use positive affirmations. There's going to be times and days where you're not going to feel like it. There's going to be times that you feel like you're just working and nothing is happening. There's times when you're just going to just feel down. Life is going to be lifing. Things are going to be happening all around you. I wish I could tell you guys everything that's happening in my life right now. Like literally, it's a lot emotionally. And I'm actually getting ready to leave for a little while. I'll be traveling. And what gets me through to make sure that I continue to show up to hopefully transform you, because I just don't want it to be some motivational inspiration and let it be temporary. I show up to hopefully that the things that I give you will help transform you. And how am I able to do that? Positive affirmations. All right. Number 5, get an accountability partner or coach. Another reason why I show up the way I do, because I found a coach that don't play that. I decided to invest in myself. I didn't hire a coach. I invested in myself. I know, according to where I want to go and according to my vision, that I have to invest in myself in order to get to the next level. And I'm not afraid to invest in myself. People talk about the amount of particular coaches. Let me explain something to you. You cannot place a price on changing the entire DNA legacy of your family from working with a coach. You can't put a price on that. And this is exactly why I don't. And this is exactly why no matter what, I go after what it is that I said I want for my life. And I'm going to hire that coach. And I'm going to pay that money. And guess what? I am going exactly where I put on my vision board that I said I was going. Period. And it's up to you. Only you can decide to take these steps. And get out of this not trusting thing. Again, if you're looking for an accountability partner, this should be somebody that is already doing what you're doing, but 2 to 3 steps ahead of you. You don't need anybody that's doing it right along with you, because they're going to help you make excuses. They're not going to push you. Somebody that's 2 to 3 levels above you they're not going to play with you. And that's exactly what I do with my clients. I'm not playing with you. When you decide to invest in yourself, we're going to get there. We're going to do the work. All right. And that's the other thing too. Be willing to do the work. Please don't hire somebody and think they're supposed to pull you along and drag you along. No, show up. Show up and do the things you said you were going to do. If you have to show daily or weekly accountability, show up. That your coach shouldn't have to be contacting you, asking you for things. That's not even what they're there for. Show up. Be in the game. If you want to win, you have to show up. And listen, I always say that championships are not won in the championship, it's won in practice. So it's the same thing with your coach. As you're working with them, your success is not a result of you being in that moment. It's a result of all the things that you did up until that point. Okay? And lastly, I want you to check your stress and anxiety levels. Because when I talk about a sense of urgency, I'm talking about moving with the understanding that tomorrow isn't promised, moving with the understanding that someone's tied to your destiny and they can't get to where they need to get to because they need you. Understanding that your children and even some people in your family can't even get to where they're destined to get to or supposed to get to because you are in the way and not doing what you need to be doing. But with all of that, it should not breed a level of stress and anxiety. It should be ease in this. Okay, so I always want you to check that. And they have this thing called heart math system. It uses your heart rate it's actually a sensory app to check and actually regulate your emotions and stress. I told you guys I'm going to come with that stuff. It's called Heart Math System. All right, so look that up. It's really a app. It's the app teaches you, how to regulate your emotions and reduce stress. Because we also need to prevent burnout. I have to do this with myself as well. Like I told you guys, I was at a boot camp working with my coach. I actually felt a lot of that. And I'm going to give you my mindset exercise that I do that helped me through it. But also, I encourage you to take breaks. Rest when you need to, but do not quit. Do not quit. If you need to rest for a day, do it. Need to take a vacation, do it. But don't quit on your goals. So again, set your goals, number 1. Number 2, set deadlines. Number 3, prioritize tasks. Number 4, use positive affirmations. Number 5, get an accountability partner or coach. Number 6, check your stress and anxiety levels as you're moving with a sense of urgency. Stop waiting on the world to change and understand that the world is waiting on you to transform. I said what I said. It's just the truth. We're waiting on a government. We're finding out all these things that's happening with the US dollar, and you're sitting around and you're watching the news and you're waiting. What are you waiting for? Who are you waiting for? I need you to sit with yourself and ask, what are you waiting for? Why are you not moving? If you have a desire and a dream to go after it, who's stopping you? What's stopping you? And please don't tell me money. It is simply not the truth. And I can prove it. $322 a month welfare mother. It didn't stop me. The only thing that can stop you is the mindset. And this is why we got to work on it. And the other thing that stands in people's way is their healing. They haven't worked through the trauma and the things that they have stuffed down for years that allows them not to trust people, not to trust a coach. This is why they're not hiring people. They don't trust anyone. They don't want to work with anyone. They think everything is a gimmick. Oh, this is not real. But who is it not real for? If people are actually walking into it and living it, why is it fake? Why is it not real? Someone who looks just like you, who probably came from worse off situations than you, and they're able to make their way out, but you can't. Help me understand that. So, as I promised, I want to give you my 5-5-5 method. This is what I use when my stress or my anxiety is high. I take 5 minutes. 5. I set the timer, and I try to get in the most comfortable place as I can. And then I take 5. It's going to be 5 inhales, and we're going to hold it for a count of 5, and then 5 exhales. So what it looks like is when you're inhaling for a count of 5, hold it for a count of 5, and exhale for a count of 5. It just, when I do that, I can even feel right now just how the level of calm that comes over me. And I do that for 5 minutes. You can find 5 minutes out of your day just to breathe. because yes, it is viable that we understand that we need to be working. And first of all, I always say need. It's not really true. You get to. And when you understand that not only do you get to work towards your vision and goals, not only do you get to help others out, not only do you get to live a life of abundance, but when you understand that you can choose it, that you can be, do, or have anything you desire because you choose to step up to the plate, because you choose to choose you and stop waiting to be chosen, because you choose to move with a sense of urgency, because you choose to value your time. But oh man, but then when you get to, I'm blessed to, that's when the game changes. When you understand just how blessed you are. And so I told you all month long we're going to be talking about this passage, and last week again recognizing the value of time. Today was just embracing the sense of urgency, and next week we're going to talk about be a light in the world. If you don't understand anything, I need you to understand that this world needs some light right now. All of the division, all of the hatred, all of the racism, all of the classism, all of the socialism, is so much going on. And here's the thing, there's a saying you say, if you can't beat them, join them. But I really want somebody to throw that out, because we should not be joining that mess. Turn that news off and start working on your healing, so then that you can go out and heal the world. And again, we'll get into more of that next week. But if you don't understand anything else, understand that this world needs some light in it. This world needs some love in it. And why does it have to start with somebody else? And why can't it start with you? That's the question I want you to ask before we come back next week. And I hope that you pick up a copy of my book, Finding Your Way, 7 Ways to Love and Heal Yourself. You can find it. I actually will leave the link for my website, www.moesass.com. It's also on Amazon as well. I'll also link that to the video. And I hope you have the most amazing, amazing week. And I'll talk to you next Sunday.